Hello, welcome to PO Sports Talk. I'm Ed Gottwals along with Colin Stevens and our newest PO Sports writer, Lizzie Arbogast. It won't be long now till football season starts. In fact, we're working on a football guide right now. It's going to be published August 29th. So we thought we'd share some of the info we've picked up so far about our Franklin County teams. And I'll start first with Chambersburg. I think a lot of people expect Chambersburg to have a really good season this year, and I happen to believe that could be true. I'm kind of in the middle of what I'm going to pick their record as, but it's going to be a winning record, I think. They returned 8 starters on offense, and that offense scored a lot of points last year. And even games they didn't score a lot of points, they moved the ball pretty well against some really good teams. So there's definitely some talent there. They have 4 or 5 of their offensive line starters back, and they've got a bunch of skill players back. I think probably the key is a quarterback situation. They'll be breaking in a new one. It's either going to be J.T. Hopple, who is more of a kind of running, slashing type option quarterback, or Ryan Martin, who's the first one for a while to have some real size. He's 6'3", more of a classic drop-back passer. I think they're probably going to play playing both of them to kind of give their opponents a different look. But they've got lots of talent. They've got Jamal Pickett back for his 3rd season at halfback. Jordan Brown's back at halfback after being injured last year. They have Kellen Williams at end, and he's probably a Division I prospect. They got a lot of weapons out there. Taylor Talbert might play some tight end. He caught a lot of passes last year. So I think the offense is going to be in really good shape, especially with the line. The only question mark there is that their best lineman, Aaron Reese, found out he had mononucleosis. So he's probably going to miss at least the first 3 games, which, they're fairly winnable games, at least in their eyes. So hopefully that won't be too much of a distraction. But they'll need him down the road, no question of that. Defense, the Trojans returned 4 players. They gave up a lot of big plays last year. That's going to have to stop because against the really good teams that really hurt them, they're going to go to a 4-3 this year. We'll see if that makes a difference. I think the one key for them is they've got a brutal schedule in weeks 4, 5, and 6. They got defending state champ Central Dauphin, then Cumberland Valley, then State College. So they'll have to be ready for those 3 games. Okay, Shippensburg had a very successful season last year, and I think offensively they're going to be in pretty good shape too. Similar to Chambersburg, they've got 4 offensive linemen coming back, including Division I prospect Kerry Hess. So, and they have 4 returning backs, not necessarily their starters, but kids got a lot of time. And if you know Shippensburg, you know they like to run the ball, so that's pretty good ingredients right there. Coach Eric Faust has said he might pass the ball a little bit more this year because he likes what he's seen in quarterback Seth Fry. Be surprising if Ship goes much off the ground because that's been successful for him. Plus, they got that big line, so we'll have to see about that. I think the Hounds are going to have a lot more holes to fill on defense. They lost some of their key linebackers, and they've got some people there that need to step up and fill those roles. And they opened this year with Central Dauphin East, which will be a really good test for them to start the season. So I think Ship's in good shape to do well. As far as I'm not sure they'll do the same as last year, but we'll have to see. Next, we're going to talk about Waynesboro and Mercersburg, so we'll hand it over to Lizzie.
All right. Personally, I think Waynesboro is going to be on the upswing this year. They've struggled in the past couple years, but they have a lot going for them this year. They're going to change some things up on defense, which was really their low point last season. They're going to move to a 4-3 alignment, so I think that'll kind of help take away some of the bigger plays against them. They also have a really fierce offensive lineman. They're returning 4 seniors, which will create space for Johnny Adgers, who had almost 1,500 rushing yards last year, so he was obviously their biggest offensive threat. I think the biggest question mark for the Indians is going to be their quarterback. They thought that Nathan Taylor was going to start at quarterback, but he was injured in the first scrimmage. So they have some question marks there, but it looks like a sophomore named Connor Fetterhoff is going to be taking over, and I'm told that he has a lot of promise. He's a very intelligent football player. He, has a nice pass. So I think if they can figure that out, I think they'll do some good things this year. As far as Mercersburg goes, they obviously have struggled, but I think with the changes that they're going to be making this year, it could be a little bit different. For the past 5 years, Coach Dan Walker has been running a spread offense, but he's going to change some things to a 2-back offense this year, I'm told, to implement senior Kean Sanders, who was new to football last year, completely new to the sport, but really seemed to pick things up, and He has a lot of promise at tight end and fullback, so they're going to be using him a lot more. They're also going to have the return of Ayo Ajibaba and Lorenzo Vasquez. Ajibaba was the team's leading rusher. Vasquez was the team's leading receiver, so they definitely have some skill positions that they have a lot of talent there. As far as some struggles they might have is they graduated both their punter and their kicker, so they could have some question marks on special teams. They also could have some question marks at the line on both sides. They graduated a lot of people on both the offensive and defensive line, so they're just trying to get that figured out because they also, they have the skill positions there. They're just going to need some coverage up front.
I'll just make 2 points about Lizzie's teams. One is you're going to enjoy seeing Johnny Andrews run. He's pretty talented. Two, I'm very impressed you got through a couple of those Mercersburg names on the first try. Okay. Now we'll get back to the southern end of the county again, and this time Colin's going to talk to us about Greencastle and James Buchanan.
Well, Greencastle Antrim has a lot of work to do, I think. They're losing their top 2 rushers from last year, Denver Cordell and Tyler Savlarski. Those 2 were animals. But Coach Chuck Taninis, he's been there forever. This is his 25th season. So there's already a system in place, and I don't think they're going to be held too far back, but there's definitely a lot of production lost there. The key, I think, though, is that Austin Scott is returning at quarterback. He went down in the 6th game of the season last year with a knee injury, bad knee injury, tore his ACL. Having him back is going to help a lot, both on offense and defense. He's a senior. He knows what to expect out of the league, and he's very versatile. He can run, he can throw, and defensively in the secondary, he can cause a lot of problems for opponents. But only two returning starters on defense and 4 on offense. So there's going to be definitely an adjustment period, but hopefully in those first 3 weeks they can figure some things out, and it'll be the Blue Devils like we're used to. Now, James Buchanan, they are going to also look different this season. They have a new head coach in there, and Andy Stoner, and I like what I've heard from him and the feedback from the players so far. He's definitely bringing in a different attitude. He wants, it's not about individuals as much as the team. That's the biggest thing I've heard from the players. They're changing their offense. It was a spread offense before. Now it's going to be a wing tee. They're going to feature the run a lot more. Last year it was pass, pass, pass. And that was because they had Coy Quivers. He had a good arm. He could run. But they maybe didn't have the supporting cast around him to really pull that off. So changing the offense is going to help. But I don't think that's going to transition to wins right away. I think it's going to be another low-win season for the Rockets. Maybe 1 win, 2 wins. But I think this is the start of changing the mindset, changing the attitude. And since Andy Stoner played for the Rockets back in the early 90s, I think that's going to be extra motivation for him to really turn this program around and turn it into what he wants it to be.
We wish him luck.
Definitely.
It's been a while, and it's a big task, but we'll see. Okay, guys, thanks for that. That should take care of things for this week. We'll be back next week with previews of the first week of games, including the Chambersburg at Greencastle game. Until then, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PO Sports Desk. See you then.